Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tats, and today we're going to be covering Inscryption. Yes, it's finally been fully released, and oh my gosh, has it lived up to the expectation I expected it to. Before we get into what we're going to cover today, as always, let's appease those YouTube algorithms. If you are new here, if you have been here before and you haven't thrown a subscription to the channel, please consider doing so. It would mean a lot to me. Throw a like to the video, comment down below what you think about my content, and turn on the bell for notifications. As stated, Inscryption has finally had its full release, and if you haven't picked it up, you're doing yourself a disservice. This is definitely a contender for Game of the Year. I'm not even joking. But what I want to do is I want to cover some of the new stuff that's been found. Now, you may be thinking, Tats, but you're missing this, this, and this. Well, like I said, a lot of the stuff from the demo carried over into the full game. I have a couple videos. I will link them somewhere either in the description or up above. Go check those out. I want to keep this one a little bit shorter, but in this video, we're going to cover some of the new spawns that have been added to the game. So let's get into it. So one of the new map spots is going to be a pickaxe going into a rock. Now, this appeared once I beat the Prospector for the first time. I haven't seen it since, and I've done multiple runs, so I don't know how often this will appear. But when you land on it, it will cause the Prospector to appear, and you're going to do a game of chance. He's going to give you one of 3 boulders to strike. And I'm guessing if you strike the right one, you're going to get a lot of gold teeth. I don't know. When I did this, I guessed wrong, and I got a cockroach card, which wasn't that bad. It had 2 sigils on it, so it wasn't like a really big loss for me. So I'm really curious to see how often this spot will pop up. So if you see this, if you guess wrong, don't worry, let's look at something good. So the next new spot still has a lot of mystery behind it, at least to me. I've only landed on it about 2 or 3 times. And so basically it's going to be a card-shaped one with an X through it. And this is going to be what I call the Void or the True Master spot. Now, why is it the True Master? I'll discuss that in a minute. But essentially when you land here, you're going to be taken to another altar. This one is vastly different from the previous ones. Essentially, you have to offer up a sacrifice that is worthy. Now, in my first playthrough, I offered up the Stun Wolf, and I got a boon where every hand I start with, I have bones in my hand, which is good. Now, I'm sure there's other cards you can play to get other boons, but both times I've done it, I've only gotten the one you see pop up on screen here. So if I'm missing something, let me know down in the comments. So now, why did I call the skull the True Master? Well, that's because this little jar of goo that you can get from a backpack spot said it was a True Master. Now, once you offer up a worthy sacrifice, it will appear on the wall and you can click the skull and the eyes turn red. I assume what the skull is the True Master of the game. This next new spot will first appear when you get to the wetlands, and we're going to call it the cave. It's pretty identifiable. There it is. It's going to look like a cave with 2 eyes sticking out, and this is going to be another game of chance. Now, for this section in particular, you're really going to need to know your cards. Study your card's attack, study your card's health, the sigils, the pairing, everything. Your deck is very crucial to knowing this. You need to know what you have the most of. Now, when you finally get onto the spot, you're going to have to go through different trials, and these trials are going to be based on what I just explained. So know your deck well before you pick a spot or even go to this spot. Now, I'm going to show you what happens when you fail, and then I'll show you what happens when something goes right. So as you see here, the cave's going to appear, and I'm going to have 3 options. There's going to be 3 different trials. So the kin 2 of 3, 2 out of the 3 cards must be the same. The next one is going to be of the trial of bones. The 3 drawn cards must have at least 5 bones combined to pass. Now that's the bones used to summon the creature. And the next one that I chose, which I thought I had it, was the trial of wisdom. This is going to matter of the sigils. So this is why you need to know your deck very well. And these will change between the health, the attack, and all that stuff. So I went with the sigils, and I happened to come up just short. I was 1 short. Got lucky with the stink bug and the great white, and then the stun wolf failed me. So basically when that happens, you don't get anything. So let me show you what happens when you do get it right. So this is from when I landed on the spot for the first time. Again, knowing your deck inside and out would be greatly helpful. This is a high reward, low risk spot. So again, the trials will always be random. On this one, we have 6 hearts. That means the total amount of hearts between the 3 cards needs to be 6. And the next one's going to be blood. So the summoning of the 3 cards need to be 4 blood. And then again, we have the bones. Now, make sure you pick the one you know you can for sure win. Whatever one you have the most abundance of these 3 trial cards. So here I am, I'm trying to decide which one to go, because honestly, I didn't really look at my deck when I did this. But if you do the trial right, and I do it really well here, I recall. Let's take a look here. So I'm going off the blood, and which was a good thing. I got the bullfrog, the stout, and the wolf. And basically, once you do this, you'll be able to pick from 3 very good cards with 2 sigils apiece. So high reward, low risk, good spot, know your deck. This next one is my personal favorite. Like, the entire game, this is my favorite spot. So you're going to want to come here and you're going to want to have 2 of the same cards. 2 mantises, 2 ravens, 2 great whites. No matter what, you need a pair of a single card. Because, well, I'll show you in a second, because I show up and I don't have 2 of a pair. So if you land on here, you're going to be greeted by a new mask. This is what we're going to call the Mad Doctor. And you need duplicates. Now, if you land here and you don't have duplicates, they will notice that, much like the Pelt Trader and the Trader. So they'll give you 3 choices, and they're going to be cards that are matching your deck. So in my deck right now, I have the Field Mice, the Kraken, and the Bat. So once I take one of these, I'll have a pair, and if I see them down the road, let me show you what happens. So this is what happens when you show up to this spot with 2 of a kind. In my case, I have the Mantis. You'll notice one has 2 sigils, and the other one just has its usual attack on both sides sigil. Now, we're going to get all Frankenstein up in here. We don't get to watch. Apparently, it's so graphic combining these 2 cards. This is a really good spot if you have 2 of a kind, because essentially you're just going to combine them. Think of it as like a mini death card. Look at this. There's so much carnage. We can't see what's going on. Bam! Deck is an amazing card. 2 attack, 2 heart, attack both sides, and it's got the infinite symbol on it. Have the right cards, this can be a really, really good spot to land on. Now again, before you drop down in the comments and say that I missed something, if you made it this far, please check out my other videos I've made about the map spots and the secrets. A lot of them carried over from the demo, and yes, I am omitting some spots from later in the game because I want people to experience that for their first time because it was amazing. This game is, in my personal opinion, a contender for Game of the Year. Dan Mullen, thank you so much. Devolver Digital, thank you for publishing it. So stay tuned. I will be making more content for this, including how to do the later boss fights. I haven't decided if I'll do one for the final one yet because personally I haven't figured out how to beat him because it's a real kick in the butt. So if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to the YouTube, throw a like, comment down below, follow me on Twitch and iGotsTats, and I will catch you in the next game.